I've got to go on a road trip in just a few days, so enjoy this video where I set about fixing some light issues, then realised the MOT runs out on Ellie on the day of departure. I try fixing her, then I realise there's a problem, then I decide to work on the only working car other than Desmond that I've got, Betty the Ford Fairmont, break that and find myself a bit stuck. Will I get on my road trip? Will I get an MOT pass on my 2CV? Stay tuned and find out. I'm meant to be going on a road trip in my Citroen 2CV to go and resurrect something. It should be something a bit special. But you can see we got disco fever going on. Why are the lights being so weird? Let's take a closer look. That's not right. That's a bit weird. Before we investigate, I'm just going to add brake lights to the mix because it's a harder one to check yourself. Sort of. We've definitely got something going on a bit funky on that side though, haven't we? So let's talk 2CV wiring then. Open up the boot lid. I've got all sorts in here. Look at that. Some very, very old stickers. So the wiring is down here and you've got all these little bullets. But those are bullets doing the supply. There is not a bullet for the earthing. The earthing is done through these bolts that hold the lamp into place, and I'm not sure what has happened to cause upset in this wiring, but I think I'm going to take the entire lamp unit off and investigate. I think that's 8 mils holding the lamp unit in place. I think I will just take the lens cover off first of all. Just check there's nothing obvious going on in a weird way. But it looks like an earth issue because other lights are being activated when they shouldn't be. So be very careful with these not to over tighten them or you just crack the lens. But the bulbs certainly look okay. Nothing untoward there. Very simple reflectors but very effective. The indicators and brake lights are very bright. The inboard ones are a little less so, but everything seems all right there. This lamp has been sitting there since 2016, so we'll unbolt it and have a look at the mounting points. Oh, there we go. Off we go. Bit of rot in the bottom of that loader unit, but I don't think that's what's causing our issue. Or maybe it is. Rusty metal doesn't tend to be so good for transmitting an earth. Let's take plastic off if we can. Ooh, that could be a problem. For sure that could be a problem. I didn't realise these were steel. I may have to see if I have replacements. The only other one I got has also got issues, but importantly it has actually got a shake-proof washer, and these with a serrated edge are good at biting through the paint to get a good earth when you bolt them on, which is obviously an important step. But take the plastic off. Oh, there's another one there as well. Interesting, there's 3 bolts. I'm pretty sure I only undid 2 to get the old one out. Maybe I was missing one. That kind of helped. Yeah, that metal is actually looking better, I think. So I think I'm going to clean this one up. And we'll have a go if I can get the bulbs out, that is. Oh, that could be a big if. I may need to acquire some new tail lamps. Maybe I'll need to clean this one up and see if I can get this working. So I'll try pulling off this rubber seal. There we go. Oh, it's very, very attached around where it's corroded. But it is still intact. I think from that, yeah, it is. The rubber's still intact. The metal is, so let's see if we can get something to clean this up. Might just pop the bulbs out while we do that. So we'll start with maximum abrasive with the old wire brush. Let's get maximum looseness off. Oh no, my light fixings have all dropped out. I've got to remember which ones they go in now or it won't match. Fun times. Oh, what did you do today? Oh, I just buffed up the rear lights of my car. Of course, all this is a further distraction from the Pajero project, but I mean, really, I think that is probably still done for, but hopefully it'll work. I'm going to spray some Dynax UC from Built Hamber onto this, so we've got a clear coat to protect it from further degradation. It's hard to tell whether that's caused by the, well, as you know, it must be the unit itself. It just looks like it shouldn't rust, but nonetheless it has. So I'm just going to let that set a bit, and then I'll put the rubber seal on and reassemble the light. No idea if it's going to work or not, but you've got to try these things, haven't you? Of course, the other side was slightly having the issue, so I may still have to have a go at that one. Yeah, you can just see it's there, very slightly. Oh well, we're here now, we might as well dive in. Very similar story on the passenger side, just not quite as bad. So again, I think we're going to pull that off, give it a blast up with a wire brush, and then try and prevent further degradation. I love living in a damp climate. Shouldn't complain, it's sunny today. It is actually dry for once. Right, give that a buzz. Nowhere near as bad though. Right, moment of truth time. I haven't put the lens on yet, but I thought let's just try it. There's our side lights, there's our brake lights, and here come the hazard lights. Yeah, that's looking encouraging, isn't it? Okay, let's pop the lens back on if I can find it. There it is. Beautiful rear lights on the 2CV, I think. Although these were actually designed for the AMI 6, and then they redesigned the rear panel so these lamps would fit the 2CV in the early 1970s. I think it was. I think it was for the 1970 model year, if I remember rightly. Yeah, there's just a hint, a very slight hint of the tail light dimming, but it really is. You probably can't even notice that. I don't think that's bad at all. Just snug these up a bit, don't go too crazy with them. That's going to give it the brake light test as well. Ah, looking much better. And if we turn the lights off, the brake light's not dimming it. Oh, it's just a bit. There's still a bit of something going on, isn't there? But it's not looking as bad as it was, where the indicator was failing to light up at all. So encouraging, encouraging. Right, hopefully this works because I've run out of time entirely. Side lights both sides. Yep. Brake lights. Yep. And hazard lights. Oh. Why must you fight me every time? Why, Eddie? Why? Oh, that bulb is very manky. That bulb housing generally is a bit manky. I think I'm going to have to come back and finish this job off because maybe we're alright. No. Oh, we'll see how we go. Actually, we're not done at all. We're now a couple of days later. It is now Sunday. Ellie has an MOT tomorrow. We go on a road trip on Wednesday, so no pressure, Ellie. But to give her a fighting chance, we're going to go around and just do a quick inspection and a quick grease up. So I've got the wheels off, so we can just check that the lock tabs are all right. We can have an inspect of the gaiters. No cable tie should ever be put on this boot at that end because it does slide up and down. So that's kind of the suspension travel. It's a sliding joint here for which there is a grease point. We'll get onto that in a moment. So we'll grease that up. I've actually added grease points under all this muck. I've got grease points on the track rod ends as well. And there is actually one, not we can easily see it, on the steering rack. It's looking a bit damp on the back of the gearbox, which is mild cause for concern. I should probably check the level on that before we go adventuring too far. But yeah, poor Ellie, scabby as ever. Only done a couple of 1,000 miles since the last MOT though, so disappointing, must try harder. So again, we've got a grease point here. Don't need to put very much grease in there, but we'll clean that up. Do the same here. That gaiter looks okay. And this one seems okay. Oh no, that's a telltale sign, isn't it? Bugger. That has just become an issue, I think. Because I haven't got another one of those. Now I'm going to a 2CV specialist next week, which is related to my adventures. So I haven't got one of those. They're a pig to do. I think these are the later neoprene ones. I think I did actually get these changed out a few years ago. But yeah, that's done a rip. That's not ever so ideal. Yeah, I don't think I've got a drive shaft. That might be one easier way to do it. Just get the HubNut, drinking game complete, off and just take the whole shaft out. Might be an idea, just to check if I've got one. That would simplify matters. Well, the incredible thing is that I managed to find a drive shaft. The sad thing is, it doesn't have a gaiter on it. It's just got a plastic bag to protect the CV joint, which I don't think is quite going to pass muster. So I haven't actually achieved anything at all. I'm now stuck. That may well be the end of my road trip plans, which is rather upsetting, because that is not going to pass an MOT. So that's not really how we wanted this one to end. I'm not going to be able to get a drive shaft gaiter today. I've had to cancel the MOT for tomorrow, and I haven't got time before I leave on Wednesday to get a drive shaft gaiter fitted and get her MOT'd again. The MOT actually runs out on Wednesday. I do use an app which did give me a reminder, and I still managed to forget. The MOT was that imminent. Bella is now out of MOT, so she's declared sawn. She is off the road. So I guess I'm going to have to take the Aussie barge. Good old Betty, always there when I need her. So that's going to have to happen instead. But I could really do with doing front pads on Betty, at the very least. I have actually kept some pads. I don't know why I did this, but we did a full brake refurb when Betty first came into the country. So I have some used pads with plenty of meat on. And I'm wondering, it isn't that difficult to do front brakes on an Aussie Ford. Would it be a good idea to chuck some more meat in? And I think the answer is probably yes. I think one of the reasons we've got sticky front calipers, I mean, we replaced the pistons and the seals on those calipers, I'm pretty sure, sort of 3 years ago. But when you get more pistons sticking out, even though it's in a rubber boot, I think you're just asking for trouble. I think if the piston is more back in the piston, in the cylinder rather, of the caliper, I just think that's better. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to chuck Ellie's wheels back on, push Ellie back, and we'll have a go at Betty's front brakes. So I've got the caliper off because the pads are getting a little on the skinny side for my liking. There's a bit left on them, not panic stationed yet, but they're not great. I've actually ordered a set of discs because these are a bit grooved. There's a bit of a lip. I didn't really want to skim them because people are saying that they can be prone to shattering when you do that. So we're going to replace the discs and fit brand new brake pads. But I've got some miles to do before then, quite a lot of miles, and I'm not very happy doing them on this. So I'm going to put some used ones in that we kept the last time we worked on the brakes. And as you can see, there's a much more meat there. If I pull this pad out entirely and pop it on the top for a comparison, you can see the difference. Much more meat on that pad. While I'm in here, I'm going to have a look at the pistons. I'm going to push them back in and maybe use brake pressure to move them back out again, just to make sure they're free moving. The sliders seem pretty happy. So it's a sliding caliper design. These seem fine. In fact, if anything, there's maybe a bit too much grease on there. It feels like it's mildly hydraulicking. Yes, I may clean that up a bit, because you don't want hydraulicking going on. That is actually a bit too much. Yeah, I think we replaced these pistons last time we were doing major work on Betty's brakes. So let's get in there and do that. I'm going to need to get a tool out to push the pistons back in first of all. Although I may just have a peek under the seal just to make sure all is well. So I've actually taken quite a bit of goop off these sliders, and they actually seem much happier as a result. In fact, there's still loads in there, so I may do that again. Clean it up, apply a tiny amount of fresh, and then we'll clip the gaiters back in. So here's how this works. Your screw thread will push that against here, so it pushes it back into the piston when you twirl this handle here. And it's a little difficult to do one-handed with the caliper just sort of resting, but I don't really want to take the caliper off the car ideally. Funny how every job is escalating today. This seal is not fitting properly. That needs to be inside there. So I need to get this piston out completely. Marvellous. Maybe I do need to get this off the car after all. Yeah, that is definitely a sticky caliper. Pads are out. I've got a block of wood there, and I'm pushing the pistons out with hydraulic pressure. And there'll be a pop at some point, and one of them will pop out. And the problem is, the problem one probably isn't going to pop out. So I need to try and wedge the other one to force the other one out. Oh, 100%, this isn't how you meant to do this. Whoops. You normally use air pressure, but I'm using what I've got, which is just me, which doesn't help. It's a lot easier with two people, this job. Oh, well, it's been a bit of an ordeal, which definitely didn't involve those big grips. But the problem piston is out. It's quite gunky, so we'll clean it up and just make sure that's all right. But yeah, this look, it's just not in there. It's not a big thing, but yeah, I don't think it wants to go in there. This may become problematic. I'm going to rotate it and see if we can convince it to go in. Maybe I'll just pull the whole thing out. It's almost like it's glued in there. What the heck? Maybe it was glued in there. But who glued it? We wouldn't have glued it. Oh, this is a right mess. If that was glued from the... No, we didn't fit replacement calipers. So how has that ended up like that? Oh no, I'm very confused. Yeah, this could be a big problem. This seal is not in great shape because it wasn't fitting properly. That's probably me. In which case that's been like that for 3 years, which has no doubt accelerated my pad wear, which is why we're in this problem. Oh dear. Oh, and the seal's actually got a little nick in it there as well. Marvellous. All around, today has not gone well. I started the day with 2 working vehicles, and now I have 2 non-working vehicles. Well, now we are in a right mess. I can't refit Betty's caliper, and Betty is stuck here at the moment. Less than ideal. So that's a problem. Tim at Cambrian Classics has said, oh, if you pop over, I may have a gaiter that'll fit. The only problem is Ellie's stuck in here behind a broken Ford. Can't use Bella. Bella is dangerously out of action because her pinch bolt on the bottom arm has fallen off. I have no more vehicles here. Tuck's up the back. In theory, Tuck could probably come out, but she's not going to squeeze past Betty either, so I'm going to have to work out what to do. I've been trying to clean up the pistons, and they're not cleaning up all that well. That's the better one. And then this one, that is some, I think that has developed into pitting. This is the sticky one. So this is where the seal was blowing out. So it wasn't protecting here. So muck was getting in. I'm surprised brake fluid wasn't leaking out. Well, I suppose it is a dust seal, the top seal, if we just rush back to the caliper. So that is the seal that keeps the muck out, or is meant to, and that one was failing. This inner seal, the black one, is what stops the hydraulic pressure. And it's kind of the twisting of that as the piston comes out that pulls the piston back in again, or should do, but not if there's a gunked up thing in the way. So really what I need at the moment is probably calipers. These are very old calipers. We tried a refurb kit, but if you don't fit the refurb kit properly, you get problems. So now what do I do? There we go, I got Betty in. No caliper on the front, so I had to reverse her towards that with no brakes, and then drive her into the unit with no brakes. Handbrake does work, of course. It's just starting to drizzle, so it's a good job I'm packing up. We're going to nip over to Tim's and pester him on a weekend. Sorry, Tim. What a palaver, eh? This was meant to be two separate videos. It's all getting rolled into one. The collection of dead cars is growing. I'm going to have to acquire some caliper parts for Betty, which should be possible. I don't think anything is too specific. 38.1 millimeter pistons in calipers at the front, and I'm hoping the seals are fairly standard affairs. They wouldn't be that bespoke, would they? So dead car, Sherrard, dead car, Pajero, dead car. Tuck's just resting. Tuck, I believe, does actually work. And then we got the 2CV. So we went to Tim's. He had a look at the drive shaft, see if he got any spare seals. We couldn't find one that really fitted. But he had a look at the hole. It's a tiny little pinhole. So he smeared some Tiger Seal over it in the hope that will at least get us through an MOT. It's obviously not a fix, but I am going to visit a 2CV specialist soon, which may or may not be related to the craziness that's coming soon. So maybe I can get that sorted. Maybe I'll get a rear wheel bearing done. I know there's a rear wheel bearing going. MOT man mentioned it last time. He said it's not bad, but it's just still there. 2,000 miles later, it sounds much the same. But hopefully we can get that done as well. But I'm now going to do what I originally came up the unit this morning, many hours ago, to do, which was just to grease the kingpins. So I should have done that while she was up in the air, but yeah, I didn't. Idiot. Well, I still regard that as the worst job you have to do on an old car. The grease guns have behaved themselves, and none of them went flying though, so that's an improvement over usual standards. But that's the kingpins, drive shafts done. Some progress. So that's actually what I came to do. So I'm just going to check fluids, check lights, and then it'll be MOT tomorrow. That looks like lights. That looks like a light. That looks like lights. Yeah, that's all good. Side indicator this side, and off for them, off for the fog light, up for the side light position. These are always a pain. Nope, we have got side lights. Magnificent. Here we go. We have the MOT pass. Excellent, and it's a beautiful morning here in paradise. It's a bit windy, but we are now all set fair for our big adventure on Wednesday, and that's good news. Really, this drive shaft seal is also starting to look a little iffy. It's not allowing the ingress of muck and stuff, but signs both of them are degrading, and I think they're the newer neoprene style, so it's a little disappointing. But yeah, modern rubber products just don't seem to last, do they? So we'll have to get that done, and yeah, smarten the old girl up and do some more rust proofing. The rear axle arms are covered in kind of a flaky protective cover coating, which has almost entirely come off now. So things to do, alpha land to squirt, but generally very, very happy. So stay tuned. Later this week we will be off adventuring. In fact, by the time you see this video, I think I will already be on the other side of England, so it should be good fun. And yeah, much more to come very, very soon. Bye bye. Well done, Ellie.